It has been an absolute blast making YouTube videos about the 2026 Milano Cortina Men's Ice Hockey Olympic Games. We've been talking about the US, we've made videos about Canada, we've spoken about the Czech Republic and Team Italy, not to mention Juraj Slafkovsky, Kevin Fiala, a whole bunch of guys rotating throughout the concourse of our conversations. But today, there's a little bit of a break. Goodness forbid, we have hockey on every single day for the men's side, but today, there actually is a little bit of breathing room. You see, all of the preliminary games have been completed, which means February 17th is when everything will start to go down in an elimination faction. And I wanted to make this video early in the morning. I think a lot of us are getting used to waking up early these days just to watch these hockey games, to pay attention to the storylines, and then, of course, to see our countries represented and competing against each other. Today, what I wanted to do was dive into the qualifying round as well as the quarterfinals, the schedule, the times, and how the tournament actually looks on paper. Now, I'm not gonna lie, we could just go out there and look at this graph and look at this graph, take a look at the quarterfinals, the schedule here, and the qualification round, the schedule here, and try to do all the converting, but essentially, things are gonna be going throughout the entire day, starting tomorrow, February 17th. And I say that because in noon in Italy, you're going to have Germany versus France. At 9 p.m. in Italy, you're going to have Sweden versus Latvia. And then on February 18th, the next day, in France, you've got hockey from 12 at noon to 4 p.m. You have a game at 6 p.m. You have a game at 9 p.m. It's going to be lots of hockey the whole day through. But of course, that's Italian time. If you head over to what things look like here on the West Coast, you can add 3 hours if you're on the East. You're going to have games at 3 a.m., games at 7 a.m., and then games at noon to really get things going in the morning here. But again, this is kind of complicated to look at. Looking at the graph of, who's going to play who. Slovakia plays the winner of Germany, France, Canada plays the Czechia-Denmark winner. This is complicated, right? So let's go out there and actually take a look at a graph posted by the NHL, of all people, on Instagram. That makes it a lot easier to fully understand and dive into what's going on. Ignore the little download button on the top left of the screen. I use that on my own Google Chrome to get thumbnail images and to download NHL broadcast photos. But you have yourselves 1, Canada, who is already in the quarterfinals. 2, the US, already in the quarterfinals. Same with number 3 and 4, Slovakia and Finland, already in the quarterfinals. Then, if you go over to the left of Finland, you have seed number 5, Switzerland. Go up 2, you have seed 6, Germany, seed 7, Sweden, and then seed 8, Czechia. Czechia plays off against seed number 9, Denmark. Sweden plays off against seed 10, Latvia. Germany plays off against seed 11, France. And then Switzerland plays off against seed 12, Italy. And I love the way the NHL put this graph together. Canada is playing the winner of 8 versus 9, Czechia, Denmark. USA playing the winner of 7-10, likely going to be Team Sweden. I'm sorry, Latvia, y'all could pull up an upset. I'm not going to go out there and bet on it, though. Slovakia is playing the winner of Germany, France. Could probably be Germany. We'll see whether or not the French can rebound. And then Finland is probably going to play off against Team Switzerland, bearing a miraculous Italian win. But then you have yourselves the reseeding in the semifinals of the Olympic tournament. It is a pretty standardized way to reclassify all the teams involved once the semis begins. You are going to have 4 winners of the quarterfinals, and then you're just going to reseed them. So if Canada, USA, Slovakia, and Finland end up winning, just assuming the easiest case scenario here, then you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. It's pretty standard over there. But if any of these underdog teams end up winning, then the reseeding will take a little bit of a different track record. So Canada, assuming everything works out well, they could play off against Team Italy. They could play off against Team Latvia. Whether or not that's actually possible, then, hey, we'll see. If Canada even makes the semifinals, of course, we're not going to guarantee anything in that way, aren't we? And then in the gold medal game and the bronze medal game, you will have the higher ranks of the semifinals winners and the lowest, and then the losers will play in the bronze medal game. You might be wondering as well, why does it matter, especially in the gold medal games, who has the highest and lowest seeding in this tournament? And why does it matter in the bronze medal game, who has the highest and lowest seeding in that scenario? And I think they mentioned this on the broadcast, but if you have a higher seeding from the preliminary games, you will get last change, which does not seem like that big of an advantage, but there's a reason why last change is always given to the home team in NHL games, and there's a reason why we always talk about there being home ice advantage in the first place. Not because the crowd necessarily gives you all the energy that you need to compete and to play better, but because last change is very important. Canada, they are going to be the last change team in every game they play because they were the number one seed. USA, if we end up seeing a USA-Canada final, they will have last change up until the gold medal game. And you can cut and paste that same conversation for some of these other teams in the semifinals, the bronze medal, and the gold medal games. So essentially, it's a pretty great structured tournament. And I like the way that everything looks on paper here. I'm not going to lie, it was really confusing throughout the course of the preliminaries, just trying to follow, okay, like this team is playing off against that team, and then because Team Sweden won by only 2 goals and not 3, they ended up getting a lower rank versus Slovakia, who ended up winning because they lost by 2 instead of 3. Like, so many extra tiebreakers and numbers to bleed into the conversation. I didn't really feel like making a full-on video about it because I was like, you know what, this is only really going to be relevant for like a day. People are talking about, oh yeah, like Slovakia needed the extra goal in order to win Group B, but then people were like, wait a minute, why? If Team Sweden beats them and they all had these goal differentials from all over the place, why does that matter? And it's like, oh, it matters because only the goal differential that you have against the teams you are tied with counts towards the tiebreaker, so all the goals scored against Team Italy don't actually matter. And Slovakia, they ended up getting 3. So, yeah, it's a very strange, bizarre situation. You talk about the Finland game having implications on the standings and whatnot. That's all said and done now. This is our tournament. This is what it looks like. You have a very clearly labeled selection of teams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and you will have the reseedings going on throughout the course of the semis and the gold and bronze medal games. So, hey, we could see Canada-Czechia. We could see Canada-Denmark. USA playing off against Sweden or Latvia, probably Sweden. Slovakia, Germany, Finland, Italy, who knows? If I had to guess, if I had to make a prediction as to who wins gold, I'm saying that Canada is my biggest hope, of course. But they're probably going to do as well as we hope they should. The USA could finish with a silver medal. I would not be surprised if that happens. Hey, if we see some sort of an upset, like Team USA ends up losing to Team Sweden in the quarterfinals, then I would not be too disappointed with that either. Elias Pettersson, get your last laugh on JT Miller. Eliminate him. Eliminate Quinn Hughes. Kevin Lankinen for Team Finland going up against either Switzerland or Italy. It's going to be cool to see Pia Suter shooting off against Kevin Lankinen. And then Slovakia. Juraj Slafkovsky, go out there and dominate against Leon Draisaitl. Why don't you? It could be a pretty interesting final few teams here. And even though I'm thinking Canada-USA, they probably medal at this tournament, I wonder who gets the bronze. Slovakia does seem like a pretty underrated pick, honestly. They're pretty strong. So with all that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the actual final rounds for the men's ice hockey tournament at the 2026 Milano Cortina Winter Olympic Games. Who wins? Who loses? What does the bracket look like in your opinion? I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.